water only. So can you see the slide?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So today I would like to talk about tracing the source of organic carbon in the coastal ecosystem of Indonesia. This works has been conducted together with several people, and here some of the name is Mariska and Yusmiana or Ayu. Both are from the Research Center for Marine or Marine Research Center under Ministry for Marine Affairs and Fisheries, and myself is under Coordinating Ministry for Maritime and Investment Affairs. So mostly day to day, I'm working for the conservation issue, marine conservation issue in this ministry. So one of the important issue is about the climate change in one of our portfolio, and of course climate change is a big portfolio, but we are focusing only for at the moment for the coastal ecosystem. Now I would like to give you some brief information about Indonesia. I think you know where is Indonesia because we are neighbors. So, but some about the statistical information that currently we have about over than 17,000 of islands, and 16,000 is already registered under UN, and needs a few 1,000 more to be registered under UN, so that it's completed until 17,000, something like that. And we have one of the longest coastal ecosystem, and also I think in the tropical area we are blessed with the coastal ecosystem like coral reef, mangrove, and seagrasses, which is a very good value not only for the environment but also for the community in this particular area. So give the number of the area in territory in general, that we can say that about 75% Indonesia is covered by water, by ocean, something like that. And then even though on land we have about less than 25%, but instead we have also inland water in this big terrestrial ecosystem, about 28%. So basically we can say that, yeah, maybe about 80% is water covered by Indonesia territory alone. Let's view, last week we have many information about Indonesia through flow and from the current. So this is, I would like to give you more comprehensive map. This is map of the Indonesian seas with the major rivers and as well the through flow passing from the Pacific go to the Indian Ocean. So the yellow, the dots here, there are 4 dots, are our study area of this program, and they are located in the spread into some part of the influenced by the through flow, but other is very not really much under the influence of the ITF ecosystem. So more brief about the study of our study site is some of them are located in the, we call it in the left side Kongsi Island, in the Thousand Island off of Jakarta, and the second is in the lagoon, Sekaranakan Lagoon in the Central Java, and the third in the Spermoda Islands. This is a small island off of the Celebes. Actually, there's many islands there, small islands, but in this area we have opportunity to have some data observation in 4 islands in the Spermoda Islands in the South Sulawesi. And another part is in the Delta Brau in the East Kalimantan. So this is also a big, strong area in form of the coastal ecosystem Indonesia. On the map of the Indonesia, actually, this is a map driven describe about the presence of mangrove ecosystem in the Southeast Asia region, not really Southeast Asia, but Indonesia, Malaysia, and Singapore. So these are tell us the current condition published by Giri 2011. But of course, by now there are so many changes in this map. Let's. I would like to give you the first study. This Spermonde Island. As I mentioned before, that Spermonde Island is located in the off of the Sulawesi. These are four islands off of this area. There are Kapoposang named Saropo Pakeke, Baranglompo, and Bauluang, and those four are the our location. And then if you see here on each island, there are several red dots. It's the station that we collect our sample or data collection, not only for the biomass, but also for sediment core in this area. So the sample collection or the data and sample collection we have during the observation, we have collecting two different of samples. One is the area strongly influenced by mangrove ecosystem, and another area is strongly influenced by the seagrasses and mixed with the calcium carbonate or coral reef. So we take the samples above ground biomass using this methodology, and then we have also take the sediment core and up to 1 meter depth using the core. So you can see here these are the area in the middle are the area when we got the mangrove in the Delta Brau is very big, and there are many of these big trees or mangrove trees in this area. So this is sediment core, as mentioned before, that the sediment we're collecting using the 1 meter sediment core, and then we divide it into 5 centimeter interval, and then we analyze them for CN, and then carbon organic, and as well as the stable isotope for C13 and N15. And we measure the C density and book density from the sediment samples. These are the down core profile from different area, from different islands, actually in the Spermonde Islands. There are 4 locations, the C density in the left side, and then percent of carbon organic, CN ratio, and C13, and also N15 delta, something like that. And we can see here that most of the Bauluang are so very different profile compared to others. Is maybe, yeah, we found that it's very close to the many human activities and very close to the mouth of the river from the Sulawesi to this area. So maybe this is one of the reason why it's so dynamic, the sediment core in the Bauluang area here in the red side. And when we collecting the data about the total carbon organic stock in the Spermonde Island, this is the result. Maybe you can see here, most of the carbon organic are located in the below ground here rather than to the above ground biomass. So above ground biomass is very low concentration of carbon organic. You can see here in the comparison when we are measuring the reel of the seagrass in one particular station. Yeah, it's not very much compared to what is in the sediment in this area. So when we are trying to see the what we call it, the source of the organic carbon in the Spermode Island, with using the plot of combination of delta C13 and CN ratio to identify the source of the organic carbon by comparing the values with those of N member, either flora or fauna, that incorporated with the sediment. So as the reference. So the you see here in the red side, the color here is the reference from the literature, but the sample here, our sediment core is located here in the blue box here. So he telling us that most of the source is coming here is very strongly influenced by a marine environment rather than by coastal or terrestrial plants, something like that. And when we go into detail more about the end member of the sediment organic, so most of them are coming from the leaf of the seagrasses here. Roughly about 70% of the tree station are organic carbon coming from the plants, but only in the Baluang, most of them are coming from the coastal particulate organic matter is very high in the Baluang. So this is also telling us the variation of the source of organic carbon in this area. Now we comes to another study site. So these three study sites have similarity because they are dominantly by the mangrove ecosystem, although they have also several type of the environment, like in the Kongsi Islands, is the mangrove are living on the wet sand beach in this area. You can see also from the map, it's like a calcium carbonate or atoll island here. And the Segara Anakan in Central Java actually is a lagoon. So we can see how is the environmental condition. And in the Delta Brau, in the East Kalimantan, we can see how is the mangrove ecosystem are in this area. These are some of the figures. So these are the down core of profile from the sediment. So here in the Segara Anakan Lagoon, we divided the area into two. One is in the central, in the left side, and then another one in the right side, for the west one, or for the east one. So here is the profile of total organic carbon among study site. Then is the carbon content and nitrogen content and delta N and CN ratio and delta C13. So what we see here from our industry area, one in the lagoon in the left side, Kongsi is the atoll island, Berau is the delta one, is telling us a very big one, the concentration of the sea organic stock in this study area in the Berau. So the variation of the organic carbon determine the concentration of organic carbon and then also carbon stock. And then the accumulation are predominantly by autochthonous of organic matter concentration in the brow area on the delta brow. And it's resulted the greater carbon stock compared to other area, especially in the Segara Anakan and as well in the Kongsi. So, and some reason also telling us that for the Segara Anakan is very high deforestation of how and high sedimentation were reported to reduce the mangrove density in this area, and then which currently reduce the above ground biomass in the Segara Anakan. This is one of the results why in the Segara Anakan in the south the biomass of above ground carbon are very less compared to other stations. These are we are trying to make a difference between mangrove, marine mangrove and estuarine mangrove. So, like in the Kongsi Island, because it's strongly influenced by by ocean, we call it this as a marine mangrove, and then estuarine mangrove in the Segara Anakan as well as in the Delta Brow. So we can compare with another area in Indonesia and also another country, like in the our Kongsi Island actually relatively very slow or very low concentration compared to another of marine mangrove area. Another site in the estuarine mangrove, like in the Brow and the Segara Anakan, telling us the not really much, it's very high concentration, although it's not the highest of carbon stock, organic carbon stock in compared to another region, Indonesia or another country. And we again come to this, the source of organic using the similar method by comparison of the CN13 and CN ratio plotting into this map. We try to combine we can see that the purple dot in the center, this is the Segara Anakan, and then our sample are and then here, and then the plus here is the Kongsi Island, and with the cross are the Brow in the Delta Brow, and then the zero is Segara Anakan. The cycles, sorry, the cycles are the Segara Anakan sample. The green, the Delta Brow green dots is similar to the Segara Anakan sample that we can telling us that strongly influence of the freshwater or C13 terrestrial plant in this area in comparison with the Brow here in the comparison with the Kongsi Island. The Kongsi Island are very strongly influenced by the marine ecosystem. So, and as well we can see here the cycle telling us the good correlation between Delta Brow and also the Segara Anakan Lagoon. Both are on the in the couple that both are very strong influenced by the river runoff from the land, something like that. And these are the contribution of different end member to the amount of sedimentary organic carbon in the study site. So for the Segara Anakan Lagoon, most of the sediment are coming from the river sediments, but on the Kongsi Islands, they are coastal particulate organic matter are dominantly, and in Delta Brau, they here in the left side below are coming. Most of them are coming from the mangrove root and the leaf litter from the plant in the ecosystem. So these are the predominant of the source of organic carbon in the study site. And again, here the comparison between of different environment in Delta Brau. I think I have already explained here before. And one of the important conclusion from also from our study side that most of the from our study side, we found that actually about 20 to 30% of organic carbon are coming are located in the as the biomass, and about 70 to 80% are as the sediment, either coming from the plants or coming from the animal, for example, like that. So these are telling us that most of the activity, especially when we are doing the remote sensing analysis, the important thing is about the, for example, the primary production of the coastal ecosystem like mangrove or seagrasses. The important thing is not to, the remote sensing measure actually is only about 20 to 30% of the real condition on the field. So it is important for them as well to have look what is below the ground to validate the data, something like that. So as well, we have opportunity to have a deeper calculation about the carbon accumulation rate in the East Kalimantan, in the Brau, in the upper tree, and as well in the Segaranakan lagoon here. So we found here that in the Segaranakan lagoon, I think is not not really much within the variation with another location in other countries, but we were surprised when we found that in the Delta Brau, the carbon accumulation rate was one of the highest, I think, among others sampling study site, not only in Indonesia, but also from different countries globally, something like that. So this carbon accumulation rate is very important when we are dealing with the current issue about what we call it the Paris Agreement, or we related to the what we call it the how we could able to use the carbon for a conservation issue, something like that. So basically, the carbon accumulation is very important when we are talking about the ecosystem services. So it's like a payment for environmental services, or maybe most of you know about the REDD+, something like that. So this is telling us how important that accumulation of the carbon in the particular ecosystem in one area, something like that. I think this was my presentation. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you, Cesar.
Thank you very much, Andreas. That was very nice, very interesting presentation. So I'd like to open the floor to questions. If you have any questions to Andreas. Yes, Samcat. Your mic is still muted. Your mic is still muted. Okay, we cannot hear you.
Okay, Adia. Thank you very much, and I appreciate your work. You know, has been done a lot of work related to the geochemistry in the coastal area. One of my questions that because of you try to explain and try to make the comparison your study between the site or even with the site in other country, because one very important parameter I did not see your present in your work is about the grain size and the type of the sediments. Because the grain size and the type of the sediment is very important to reflect, you know, there's a physical processes in the areas. And the second, accumulate organic matter also due with, you know, the sediment, the grain size, or even the sort of sediment, or even the organic matter is also can be reflected by the grain size of the sediment. But I did not see you are talking about that. And then when you do the comparison, I also did not see you have done any standardize your data for the comparison. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, yeah, you are correct. When we are doing the grain size analysis, we are not doing we collect the sediment core and we separate them. I mean, because we homogenize everything in one place, something like that, before combust it to the CN analyzer and other purposes, something like that. So the idea of we are assuming that we are done thinking about that. Of course, when we are doing the grain size analysis, the bigger grain size has less concentration compared to the small one because of the organic matter. But from the end member of from the source of the organic matter, we can also identify what are the source, particularly of the organic carbon in that area. For example, in the area that high calcium carbonate area, like in the small islands, they are most of they have less concentration of organic carbon compared to the area where have let's say that in the delta or in the lagoon area in Indonesia, for example, like that. So these are telling us that the how we could able to see that the comparison among different area based on the end member of the source of the carbon, organic carbon in that area. And your second question about CN, about standard, yes, we did standard standardize our data and our sample using the reference standard data. Yeah, in this presentation, I'm not able to show you. I mean, yeah, but we are. I'm sorry for not able. Yeah, but we did the standardization.
Okay, we have Wency is raising his hand.
Okay, Andreas, thank you very much. I think this is quite closely, linked to the area of climate change adaptation, framework. What kind of policy, prospect for this kind of blue carbon research? I think it's quite important, to quantify the accumulated carbon in the different marine ecosystem in the Southeast Asia nowadays. What kind of policy prospect you have?
Yeah, yeah, that's very interesting. Now we are trying to link this issue with the issue of the conservation. Let's say like deforestation or the destruction of the coastal ecosystem. So, for example, from the presentation of when you see the data of lagoon, Segaranakan Lagoon, actually this telling us that the very low concentration of biomass in that particular area, and then very high concentration in the below ground of the organic carbon in comparison with another ordinary area globally. So this is give us information that this area is already being because the deforestation is very high. So and then the sediment, the accumulation sediment also influenced by this by the many physical factor. So we are trying to have some kind like a framework how we could able to reduce, or the government, at least local government, they try to have some restoration program in this particular area to minimize the impact of the extraction of the ecosystem in that particular area. And as well, another thing, when we are thinking about the carbon accumulation rate, as we are mentioned about before, is related to the maybe you know about the carbon trading. I think we are also now pursuing this kind of the regulation. Now is on the ongoing progress to cope with the Paris Agreement commitment, something like that. So I think now we are most of the country are very late to have real action on the Paris Agreement. So one of the way that we are trying to do is we are trying to have actually how much the carbon being accumulated in Indonesia, for example, in a particular area in Indonesia, so that this kind of scientific data also good for calculation when the policymaker asking about actually how big how much carbon has to be reduced in order to have our planet could maintain the temperature below 2 degrees Celsius before the current conditions, something like that. So this is some of the application for the policy agency.
Okay, thank you, Andreas.
Ogi, you're raising your hand?
Yes. So thank you, Cesar. Well, Andreas, you have a very good talk, and thank you for sharing the very good information with us. I just have a technical question, one technical question for you. You mentioned about the data from the carbon isotope. So where did you analyze your samples?
Yeah, we have a collaboration with the ZMT in Bremen in Germany.
Okay.
So we have a project, we call it a SPICE project.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions? I just have one quick question. Did you do carbon dating on your sediment course?
No, we not carbon. We not do lead 210 dating.
Ah, okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you very much, Andreas, for a very good presentation. Our next speaker will be Ogi Siahailatua. I don't know.
Thank you.
I pronounce it right.
No, that's all right.
Yeah. Oh, Ogi, please go ahead.
Thank you. Well, it's appear already. Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Hopefully you are all safe and fine. Thank you for attending this webinar on CSK-2. Allow me and my colleagues, General Arifin, I think he participated today, to share our thought for CSK-2. Our title for today's talk is The Role of Indonesian Through Flow on Marine Life and Environment. I would like to give my talk with the structure, start with a brief information on ITF, then give some information on marine biodiversity in the region, then highlight significant freshwater eel study in the area, And we'll give 2 examples on species distribution modeling, and would like to conclude our talk on scenario for the future study. Andreas already mentioned about Indonesia, so I don't want to mention again, but if you see the map of Indonesia, you can notify that in the west, we have a bit shallow marine water, and in the east, we have a more deeper water. The area that I would like to highlight is around this area in the eastern part of Indonesia. So, so last week we already talked a lot on the ITF, and we know that Indonesian through flow is a major current in Indonesian archipelago, flow from the Pacific Ocean through the Indonesian, go to the Indian Ocean. This current is basically have 2 pathways through Indonesian archipelago. One is in the, we call west pathway, is via Makassar Strait, and one is via the, we call east pathway. It's through the Maluku archipelago province, basically. So the source of ITF is actually similar to the Kuroshio current. If you see here on the left, you can see when the North Equatorial current hit the Philippines, the current has 2 branches, one flowing north, we call Kuroshio current, and the south is Mindanao current. Mindanao current flows south and then split into 2 directions. One flow back to the east to make North Equatorial countercurrent, and one flowing west and then to the south to be ITF, this one, pathway. So on the, or in the east pathway, basically Indonesian through flow mix between the water mass from the Mindanao current and the from you can see here on the left from New Guinea countercurrent. So so I think the water mass in the west and the east are slightly different. Indonesia is one of the countries in the world with high marine biodiversity. We have more than, I think more than 10,000 identified marine species, and fish is the highest in the species number, more than 3,000 so far that we understand. But if you see here, it's probably it's too old. It's 15 years ago published on the Indian Journal of Marine Science. Indonesia and the Indo-Pacific region are well known as a hotspot for marine biodiversity in the world. That's why we call the area is the Coral Triangle region, because it is habitat for more than 550 species of stony coral. So it's about 69% of species, or 76% of general in the world could be found in this region of Coral Triangle. So result from Ewin, Ewin is expedition of Widya Nusantara in 2018. I think this is the last expedition in Sulawesi Sea. This is the area between the Philippines and Indonesia. And there are still a lot of marine life were collected only with IKMT, Isaac Kid Midwater Trawl Nets. So the expedition was taken in October 2018 for 2 weeks, and more than 10,000 specimens are needed to be identified. We haven't finished to identify the all stuff here. So it means that the region is so rich in terms of marine biodiversity. So more now on freshwater eel observation. It's basically taken with Professor Tsukamoto from Tokyo University and his team, and it's a joint research with RCO since 2001. And freshwater eel spawning in marine water. So during the early life history of freshwater eel, they spend time in marine environment. We found many freshwater eel in this region. You can see here during the early stages. As you know that one of the freshwater eel species, sorry. Sorry for that. Okay. As you know, one of freshwater eel species in the world is Anguilla borneensis. This species is recognized as an ancestor of Anguillid eel. And we found that the spawning area of the Anguilla borneensis and also celebesensis is in Sulawesi Sea and Tomini Bay. So this is study by Tsukamoto Sensei from Tokyo University and RCO LIPI staff Professor Sam Othayson, and they conclude that the freshwater eel have a short distance spawning migration, and they also have multiple spawning area and season. So now I would like to show you a modeling of species distribution. My first case study in tuna fisheries. In Indonesia, there are 4 main tuna fishing areas. We have in Indian Ocean here, Western Sumatra, and also in South Java and Nusa Tenggara. It's very close to Australia. And also Banda Sea, and it's in the North Papua. It's where the area that we would like to focus on. So the region is very important for a tuna fishery, basically. Okay, but we don't understand where is the tuna spawning location until now. We maybe know the spawning period, but don't know where's the location. We don't know a life history cycle of the tuna in this area. So there's so many questions. But the study of skipjack tuna in Central Pacific, they made a projection up to 2090, so another 70 years from now. So if you see the graph here, the red one indicate from Western Central Pacific, and the black one is from the east. So far, that's probably, so we are in the 2020, so it's about this time. Seems like the biomass of skipjack in the West is still high, but probably in 2019, so the West is lower than the East. So it's mean like the biomass, reduced biomass in Western Central Pacific associated with the sea surface temperature overheating. So, this one a case study on a coral genus of Acropora is done by Hadianto. It's a staff of LIPI who now are doing his PhD in Australia. So, so we see the Acropora, this genus is about 113 species in Indonesia. It's spread throughout Indonesian archipelago. So by using, so by using the species distribution modeling, we could predict the change of Acropora. So this is a set of data that we need. So, so for example, the biota or Acropora species, so we use present and absent data, and we use OBIS database downloaded May 2020. Modeling climate scenario, present and 2100. There's a random forest. This is a method that they use for, and he used evaluation in C. So, and he found that habitat change of Acropora, it's about 22% in 2100. It's about 80 years from now. So in the same area, it's in the red. So probably the Acropora will be absent. And this is good for if we want to do a conservation in the coastal area. And then we understand that's where's the very sensitive area now that we need to protect. If we know that the area has a very high diversity of the species. So in our case, it's Acropora. So what we learned so far, so to understand that, we need time serial data and information to improve our knowledge and to predict the change of marine life and its environment. The second one is focused research need to be extended, not only more study on marine life itself, so like marine biology, but also including of marine habitats and environment. So we also need to extensive research and have to have long-term monitoring to conduct and for understanding and prediction the change of marine life and environment. So, so based on that, and then we propose some important studies related to ITF in the region, such as study on the ITF dynamic, maintaining the marine productivity. Observation on ITF influence in diversity, distribution, and abundance of marine life. So research on ITF drives the climate variability directly or indirectly via rising temperature, ENSO, and sea level rise. Study on the role of ITF affecting the recruitment of fishery, and study on the potential marine pollution with the connection to ITF, such as transboundary pollutants, plastic, nuclear leakage, and so on. So I think in the region, we have potential research partners, Marine Research Institute, university, also a marine industry, fisheries industry, marine science society or groups, NGOs, local government probably, it's possible. It's a research partner as well. I think that's my talk for today. I would like to acknowledge some institute and some professor that who share the material with me, especially Professor Tsukamoto and his team from Tokyo University. So that's all. Thank you very much. Arigatou gozaimasu. Shishie. Thanks, Reza.
Thank you very much, Ogi, for your very interesting talk. It's Indonesia is a very wide country. It spans along east-west direction, and you can see the biodiversity changes along east-west direction.
That's right.
So, in contrast to the Philippines, for instance, where we are more north and south.
Okay.
So and yeah, I think also in the Philippines we would like to also collaborate with you with studies in the Sulawesi Sea.
You're welcome, Cesar.
Common interest for both our countries.
Yeah, that's right.
So any questions for Ogi? Wensi.
Thank you, Cesar. Thank you, Chairman. My question actually goes to not only Augie, but also Andrews. It's very important, the ITF and also those kind of blue carbon related study in Indonesia. My question is, what's your concrete idea, to integrate, whether you think it's appropriate to integrate this into their future CSK-2, or I mean, just whether what kind of concrete idea you have? With the connection to the CSK-2, right?
Right, because I think by history in CSK-1, Indonesia already involved in that. But when I saw the document, it's more on fishery. So when we would like to join the CSK-2, I think there's a lot in the region that we would like to understand. It sounds like, especially for Indonesia, even we have hotspot of marine biodiversity, but still a lot of question. For example, like I already, so what's the scenario if the climate change in the area happen? It's like Cesar mentioned, north is more than south. And we found this the study in the West Tuna Commission. They also mentioned about the migration of the skipjack from west to east or something like that. So the connection is from Kuroshio, because I think there is a lot of implication of Kuroshio. It's not just for Kuroshio itself or the Pacific, but also for the region, including ITF that I already mentioned. So that's so the future. We talk about the climate variability or weather variability, and then and then we need to study or involve in CSK-2 because seems like marine water drives a lot of the climate variability in the region. That's it. This from my point of view. Maybe Andreas or Janal is already here, or I saw also Professor Keppel from Unstrat University. He is in the region. in the center of the, can explain more better than me. So please, Andreas or Professor Keppel, if you want to highlight some from the region based on the WESTPAC concern. So why we would like to
not a concern, just to try to explore more idea for future.
Oh yes, yeah, that's right. Right. Yeah. Oh, Channel, you. Maybe your microphone mute, Channel.
Okay, maybe I'm adding more. Actually, Pak Wengsi question was directed to Andreas and you, right? So I try to help. So at least I think Pak Ogi missed about the consortium, yeah, Indonesian Ocean Science Consortium. So we haven't discussed for sure, Pak Wengsi, all of us on the issue of how to link the blue carbon and ITF work or the OGI work, yeah. So, but I think we will have we will go to that direction. I think in LIPI office we have a lot of work on blue carbon, especially on seagrass. So this is an opportunity, I think, for Indonesia to go together with a regional partner, I think, Pak Wengsi. Yeah? So we don't have that clear path at the moment, but at least we knew that from Ministry of Maritime, Marine and Infestation, from Andreas' office, and from Ministry of Fisheries and Ocean, and also from LIPI, we have to have a team, right? Working group to have work with regional counterpart. I think that's Andreas is already there. Thank you.
Do you have anything to add, Andreas?
You're muted. Okay.
Okay. Somkiat, question?
Yeah. Thank you very much, Pak Ogi, for your presentation and informative, about a fishery related to the fishery. I think in your presentation you have been given the information about what is your concern related to the fishery, particularly on the eel, corals, and tuna. I think if you could, identify some kind of, the problem or what you're concerning. For example, you are talking about the eel because what is the problem? The production reduces, and then what is your data, existing data you have? For example, it reduced because of recruitment of the eel from the ocean, or because of the habitat in the river has been declined. And then those kind of information, including coral as well. When we are talking decline of the coral, what is the real problem? What is the problem of the coral? For example, maybe from those kind of coastal developments or from the coral bleachings. And then if you could provide those kind of information, maybe a lot of scientists who are working in the field of the chemists or even the physical processes, they can think about how they can, provide those kind of signs to support the information to resolve or answer the question, and then for the manager, for the planning, for policy people. I think this one is maybe very closely related to, was it UN decade, they are thinking to use a science knowledge to fulfill the gap, but we have knowledge we have today to improve that gap, the resources to be healthy. Yeah.
So thank you, Somkiat, for your comment. So if you follow my talk, basically we understand very much about ITF, but we don't know much about what the relation between ITF and marine life or environment. What's the effect of ITF? So that's why we would like to understand that if we include, is because if you you read the scientific finding of ITF, they mention a lot about the ENSO, El Nino, and the climate variability, the effect of ITF, but it's very, very lack information on the what's the impact of ITF on marine life. For example, it's like coral bleaching and something like that. So that's why we would like to know more about that in the, well, at least for the next 5-10 years from now. So that's my comment. Maybe from Andreas, you have another comment, please, or.
We have a question from Lin Lin.
Okay.
Okay. Very nice talk. So I feel very surprised. Actually, we have very little knowledge about even the spawning location of the tuna or eel.
That's right.
So
that's
because
right.
I'm not in fishery, physical oceanographer, so I feel very surprised. And also we have very little knowledge about its habit. So I think in recent years, our institute, IOCAS, has some collaboration with LIPI, and Professor Donglang Yuan is not here today, I think, but we do have several courses in using the Indonesian ship. I think maybe so far all the scientists on the ship is in physics. So I think maybe in the future, more biologists can join it. And because if you have more samples, and you will get more information about the larva, the spawning location of those fishes, right? And my second comment is, I think the environment in the Indonesian seas is not only ITF itself. The water mass and also the current system between Mindanao and Indonesia and also Papua New Guinea. That corner is very, has very complex current system.
That's right.
So maybe the water is not just from the Sulawesi Sea, but also from South Hemisphere. Also, there's water coming. So I suggest in the future maybe Philippines and Indonesia and also Papua New Guinea, China or Korea, we can do some collaborative works. And both physics and chemistry and biology. These kind of multidiscipline projects on the international projects. Okay, that's my point. Comments. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Lin Lin, for your comment. But well, you're 100% correct. That's why I think for the future, because you're from IOCAS, and then we still have a joint research between RCO and IOCAS. So maybe we have to think about how to put the biological staff also to involve in that area. So we have to discuss on that issue for the next future. And you're right, that's the area, what they call Halmahera eddies is very sexy for oceanographer, because it is like the meeting point of the Mindanao current and New Guinea, and also the local water mass in that area. So yes, I think that's a very important comment. Thank you.
Okay, because on our side, I think Donglang Yuan is leading the international cruise.
That's
right. In the Chinese side. So maybe next time, I think he will join this workshop also to discuss on this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. We have a question from Ken in the chat box. I'll just read it. What parameter is the key to understand the relationship between ITF and Biodiversity and Fishery in Indonesian region.
Oh. So the key parameter basically is temperature, salinity. It is the two things. It's very, very influential for fishery. For biodiversity, because we also have a biodiversity, is not only animals, but also plant biodiversity like seagrass and any marine plants. So probably the other stuff, it's like chemical stuff. It's also is very important. It's like oxygen and what else? Nutrient, basically. It's very important for, is it the key stuff that so salinity, sorry, temperature, salinity, and nutrient, it's very important, basically. It's a key stuff that we like to understand related to biodiversity and fishery in the region.
Yeah, okay. Can I add something, Ogi? Yeah. Yeah, it's very interesting, Ando-san, when you asking about the key parameter between ITF, biodiversity, and fisheries in Indonesia. But in fact, that in the ITF region, mostly in the eastern part of Indonesia, they are very the most or mega biodiversity, marine biodiversity is there, something like that. Maybe I don't know exactly the answer, but maybe the influence of the good current, I mean, chemical or physical properties of current from the Pacific passing this area could bring more oxygen or whatever better nutrient in this particular area, so that they have a highest biodiversity. But yeah, and in comparison with another part of Indonesia, let's say in the western part, where the water is very shallow, the biodiversity, the marine biodiversity is less in comparison to the eastern part, something like that. Maybe this some information. Thank you.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of theories on why the biodiversity is high in the Coral Triangle, including even tectonics and currents and yeah. So I think that's. We'd like to thank Ogi for the very nice presentation. You know, you cannot hear our hands clapping, but we appreciate very much all the effort given by Andreas and Ogi. So let's leave Indonesia for now and go up north to listen to Hannah on the East China Sea. Hannah?
Okay. Okay, thank you for having me. I'm Hannah from Seoul National University, Korea, and I'm giving this talk on behalf of my co-authors listed here. Hong-sik Min, Dong-gu Kim, Jae-hoon Park, and Chan-young Chun from Korea, and Hirohiko Nakamura, Ayako Nishina from Japan, and Shawa Xiu from China. So my talk is about the Kuroshio in the East China Sea up north compared to the previous two talks. The Kuroshio enters the East China Sea through the passage east of Taiwan. This left figure shows bathymetry over the region, and right figure shows mean sea surface height. This black contour denotes the mean path of the Kuroshio. So inside East China Sea, the Kuroshio follows closely along the steep continental slope. That's the Okinawa Trough. So we can say that the Kuroshio path inside the East China Sea is relatively stable due to this topographic constraint. So one of the most well-known observation program of the East China Sea Kuroshio is the Pian line Hydrographic survey, which is located in the northern part of the East China Sea. The Japanese Meteorological Agency, they have been conducting these hydrographic surveys on the quarterly basis since mid-1950s. And this figure shows the volume transport of the Kuroshio across this Pian line. This was calculated based on the geostrophic assumption with the level of no motion at 700 decibel, and its mean value is about 28 sphere drop. And this time series shows some seasonal cycle. We have lower values in the fall season. And from this long-term time series from 1971 to 2017, we see large transport changes on longer than seasonal cycle, longer interannual and decadal time scales. So indeed, the Kuroshio inside the East China Sea exhibits large variability, and we can see this variability from the satellite altimetry. This left movie shows the sea surface height, and right one shows the sea level anomalies. You can see from the left, the dense contours denotes the path of the Kuroshio, and you can see these mesoscale eddies propagating from the interior North Pacific. These blues and reds, they propagate to the east and influence the Kuroshio inside the East China Sea. So we need a time series observation. So I'm going to talk about the time series observation today. And this was conducted using moored instruments to obtain the continuous data set. So here is the outline of the rest of my talk. I will briefly introduce two major time series observation programs conducted before 2015. And then I will talk about more recent studies conducted in the East China Sea. So here is the Pian line time series observation. Here you can see this gray box. This is the mooring location, and they obtained 23 months long data using inverted echo sounders and ADCPs. So here from this figure, you can see the vertical section, mean vertical section of the current. So red means northeastward flow, the main Kuroshio flow, concentrated near the continental shelf. And also you can see these blue colors, blue shadings, southwestward flow. So there are two types of southwestward flow, a deep counter current over the continental slope beneath the Kuroshio axis here, and also recirculation offshore. And based on this observation, they presented this time series from December 2002 to November 2004. And from this time series, we can see that the 13 months mean net absolute transport is 18.5 sphere drop. And there are, that's the black line. And there are positives and negatives, the northeastward flow and the southwestward flow. So the positive contribution is 24 sphere drop, very similar to the Pian line observation, and the negative portion is -5 sphere drop. Okay, so based on this observation results, they compared the Kuroshio current, the Kuroshio transport with the Ryukyu transport. So this is the Ryukyu Island chain, and we have Kuroshio to the west of the Ryukyu Island chain, but we have also another western boundary current to the east of the islands. So they, based on the satellite data, they compared these two transports, and they found some lag correlation, positive lag correlation between them. And they explained this lag correlation by using the satellite altimetry images. So their explanation is like this. So the mesoscale eddies propagating from the east, they alter the Ryukyu current transport first. And this effect of mesoscale eddies is transmitted to the East China Sea, inside the East China Sea, through the Kerama Gap that is located southwest of Okinawa. And then after that, Kuroshio transport is modified. So that explains the lag correlation between the Ryukyu current and the Kuroshio transport. So that motivated this observation program conducted in the Kerama Gap for 2 years, from June 2009 to June 2011. So we conducted the observation using lots of moored instruments. This is the site map. We have many sites here, and this is the vertical section of the moored arrays. And this time series shows the result. This is in spare drop, so volume transport through the Kerama Gap. And we have positive numbers and negative numbers. So the positive means the inflow into the East China Sea from the North Pacific. So the mean transport during the 2-year continuous observation period was 2 spare drop. So this is a net inflow from the Pacific Ocean into the East China Sea. And the time series showed a large subinertial standard deviation. It was larger than the mean value. And the time series exhibited spectral peak at about 100 days. So we can see that this would be related to the mesoscale eddy variability. And indeed, when we compare the time series with the satellite altimetry data, we can get this kind of composite maps. So the upper figure is for the strong inflow into the East China Sea. In this case, we have negative sea level anomalies. These green dots are the Kerama Gap moored arrays. So we see cyclonic eddies to the south of the Kerama Gap. And then in this case, we had strong inflow into the East China Sea. And the opposite case is like this. The anticyclonic eddies were located to the south of the Kerama Gap. So, okay, so based on these 2 observation program, we started this program in June 2015 in the southern East China Sea. This is called as the J-Creeks. So the J-Creeks stands for Joint Kuroshio and Ryukyu Current System Study. So, and this is the schematic of the program. And this was a joint program between Korea, Japan, and China to observe the East China Sea Kuroshio, of course, and also the Ryukyu current variability at the same time. So this schematic shows some arrows. You may see this pink thick line, that this is the Kuroshio, and you can also see the black bold line, the Ryukyu current, and this white line indicates the observation section of the study. So the main purpose of this campaign, observation campaign, was to obtain the Kuroshio transport and the Ryukyu current data at the same time and compare those 2. The mooring was for 2 years, from June 2015 to June 2017, we deployed all the instruments in 15, and after 1 year, we recovered some of them, redeployed, and after 2 years, we completely recovered all the instruments. The location of the mooring were decided based on the satellite altimetry, and as a vertical section, we selected the depth of the mooring based on the HICOM result. So we tried to capture the core of the Kuroshio current and also subsurface core of the Ryukyu current. So we deployed ADCP's CPIs, that's current and pressure recording inverted echo sounder, and also current meters together. Yes, so when we look at the Kuroshio section here, yeah, we had 2 tour moorings, these 2. So these greens are outward-looking ADCP, 75 kilohertz low frequency ADCP at more than around 500 meter, and we also had current meters at deeper depths. And we also had CPIs or PIs to obtain the volume transport of the Kuroshio across this line. So this was the result from the 2-year observation. The 2-year continuous data shows large temporal variability, ups and downs. And when we compare this time series with the satellite altimetry, we get composite maps like this. So the upper 2 figures are for the stronger Kuroshio case. So the larger northward Kuroshio transport case. And the lower 2 figures are the opposite, the weaker Kuroshio case. When we compare the sea surface height maps, we see dense contours. Of course, that means the stronger Kuroshio. But when we compare these 2, we see some onshore shifts of the Kuroshio path for the weaker Kuroshio case, and that would be related to the shelf intrusion of the Kuroshio water. And these are related to the mesoscale eddies from the interior North Pacific. Okay, so after this 2-year observation campaign conducted by Korea, Japan, and China, the monitoring, the observation of the Kuroshio variability was continued somehow from June 2017 to June 2019. So this is the site of the observation from June 2017. So we recovered all the moorings in 2017, but these 2 moorings remained. We redeployed one site in the southern East China Sea to represent the Kuroshio variability, and also one site to represent Ryukyu current. Each moorings had similarly upward-looking 75 kilohertz ADCPs at 500 meter depths, and also current meters at deeper depths. So the 2 moorings were recovered and redeployed in June 2018, and completely recovered in June 2019. And in June 2019, we deployed 2 moorings along the East China Sea Kuroshio. So previously, 2 moorings were located further south in the southern East China Sea, one inside the East China Sea and one for the Ryukyu current monitoring. But this time, we moved the 2 sites inside the East China Sea a little north from the previous observation, and 2 were aligned along the East China Sea Kuroshio. Yes. And finally, this year, in June 2020, we plan to extend and expand our observation arrays to monitor the East China Sea Kuroshio along the flow and also across the flow. But unfortunately, because of the COVID-19 situation, the plan was a little bit modified, but we have deployed these four moorings. So this is still along the Kuroshio and across the Kuroshio. So we plan to start this new observation as a collaborative study between Kagoshima University in Japan, and KIOST, and Seoul National University, myself in Korea. And we originally we planned to include more moorings, but this is it, what we've done in this year. So moorings at 4 sites. All the moorings are similar in terms of the instruments. They had overlooking 75 kilohertz ADCPs at 500 meter and current meters and deeper depths to cover the vertical section of the current velocity. So these 4 moorings will be recovered and probably redeployed next year. And we are planning to add 2 current temperature recording inverted echo sounder next year. We plan to do this year, but it was postponed to next year because of the COVID-19. And we are hoping we can have some possible extension, but that would be depending on the funding situation, both from Korea and Japan. So as a summary, this table shows the time series observation for the Kuroshio variability in the East China Sea. So before 2015, there were 2 major observation campaigns, and all the data sets are open to public. So people can use this data set for their research and other purposes. And for the JCRICS data set, the publication is still in progress. So the data will be open soon after some more essential publication. And for the single site observation in the southern East China Sea and 2 site observation along the East China Sea, Kuroshio, the data is still in control, so the publication is in preparation. And these 2 were conducted by KIOST Korea and Kagoshima University Japan. And for the ongoing and planned observation, we have this along and across the Kuroshio observation study. And it will be possibly expanded next year, and possibly will be continued later on. And okay. And finally, after listening to last week's talks briefly, I was traveling actually last week, so I was able to just listen to some of the talks, and I thought about maybe there would be some possible contribution to the UN Decade of Ocean Science from this Kuroshio observation study. So I understand that for the UN Decade of Ocean Science, addressing environmental, social, economic challenges such as weather and climate knowledge and services, and food safety and security, these things are important. So the Kuroshio observation study, we all know that it has an influence on the early summer rain season, the rain variability, heavy rain events over the region, and also it is related to the intensity of the tropical cyclone. So it would be related to the weather and climate analysis and services somehow. And we believe that there is an influence on the ecosystem through the sharp intrusion and mixing of the Kuroshio water. And also in terms of the outreach for students and early career scientists, for all the observation campaign conducted after, or some of them before 2015, we used training vessel Kagoshima Maru. This ship belongs to the Kagoshima University in Japan. So many students, undergraduate students and graduate students, and also early career scientists participated in this cruise. So we can make this opportunity for better outreaching for the young scientists, potential scientists. And also the data publication, we basically agree that we can open this data after some initial and essential data, paper publication. So it would contribute to it can contribute to the UN Decade of Ocean Science. That's what I thought. And this is it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Hannah. It's very nice to see such a long time series, and we hope we can have more of that in the CSK-2 program. Are there any questions for Hannah?
I have question or comment.
Yeah, Andrea.
Yeah, thank you, Hannah, for very interesting presentation. I just wondering, I mean, some time ago, I have also studied about the time series of observation in the Sagami Bay. Sagami Bay is the southern part of Tokyo Bay, semi-enclosed of bay facing Pacific Ocean. So during my observation in that area until 2010 at least, I found that during winter, especially around mid of December until early of January, there were strong of Kuroshio current. I mean, the meander of the Kuroshio current entering the Sagami Bay. So just wondering, in the southern part of the Kuroshio, do you have different let's say properties or behavior of Kuroshio current? So especially during winter time, something like that.
Yes, we see that there is a seasonal variability of the Kuroshio transport. The previous understanding is basically weak Kuroshio. So weak Kuroshio during the winter and stronger Kuroshio during the summer. We see that is not, that is correct in a way, but what we found from the continuous observation data, there is more intra-seasonal or inter-annual variability compared to the seasonal variability inside the East China Sea.
Okay, any other questions? Dongyang has a question. Have you looked at the cross-shelf component of the current?
Yeah, that's a very good point. Because the short answer is we haven't yet. But because we have ADCPs and current meters along this line, what I showed from this figure is the along shelf component of the Kuroshio. So we rotated the current velocity perpendicular to this line. But when we look at the along this line, the component along this line, then we can definitely see the cross-shelf component. And I would guess because we see more onshore shift or shelf intrusion of the Kuroshio current during the weaker Kuroshio, so we would see more cross-shelf component during the weaker Kuroshio case, I think.
So there's a follow-up. I suggest to have both along slope array and cross slope arrays so that the relative vorticity and the cross-shelf dynamics can be investigated.
Yes, yes. So our ongoing program, the moorings are located like this. It is still not enough to cover, maybe it would be not enough to, the spatial resolution would be not enough to look at the relative vorticity or cross-shelf dynamics. But if we can include more instruments next year, hopefully, then yeah, we can, yeah, that's a good suggestion. We can go into that direction.
Okay, we have a question from Dezu Yang.
Yeah, thank you. It's a very interesting topic. My question is that beneath the Kuroshio, there's a southward undercurrent. You mean, what is the main mechanism for this undercurrent? Do you have an idea, or that is my question? Yeah. What is the main mechanism for this undercurrent beneath the Kuroshio?
We think there are two kinds of southwestern countercurrent, and this one under the Kuroshio is basically the deep western boundary current, similar to what we can see from the Gulf Stream or any other western boundary currents, I think. But this one is a part of recirculation. So the associated with the inertia of the Kuroshio. Oh, can I say that?
Mm-hmm. What is the main forcing for this countercurrent?
You mean the beta? Can I? So yeah. I'm not sure how I can explain the western boundary western intensification. So the beta effect, the latitudinal difference of the.
Okay, thank you.
Earth rotation effect. Okay.
Okay, thank you. We have a question from Akira.
Oh, yes, thank you for nice talk. I have one question about the biome transport of the Kuroshio in the Eastern Sea and the Ryukyu Current. You in your presentation, you calculated transport of these currents by using mooring observation. I think that the monitoring methods of these two current transport is very important to CSK-2 project. You have planned to publish more longer time series of this volume transport by using such as arithmetic SSH?
Yes, sure, of course. So the time series from the Ryukyu current has already published, but not yet for the Kuroshio time series. But after, the paper is in preparation, and we will definitely, we have already did some preliminary analysis to extend the time series into longer than 20 years using the satellite altimetry. So yeah, we can do that, yeah.
Thank you.
We also have a question from Ken. I'll just read it. Weaker and stronger cases of Kuroshio current in the ECS are associated with cyclonic and anticyclonic eddy. So weak, strong case of Kuroshio current can be predictable.
That's a very good idea. So when we look at the satellite altimetry images, the eddies are propagating from the east. So for the Kerama gap transport, we found that when these cyclonic eddies are propagating, the inflow into the Eastern Sea would increase after 30 or 40 days or 60 days. But when we look at the individual cases, the eddies are propagating from directly from the east sometimes, or sometimes from the northeast, and sometimes from the southeast. And each case have different impacts with different time lags. So the prediction would be possible when we have longer data set, but it would not be very easy, I would guess, I would say. There have been some studies for the Kuroshio east of Taiwan, and they categorized what kind of eddies can impact the Kuroshio transport in terms of eddy size and the location, and it's very complex.
Okay, any other questions?
Yep, this is Jack. In addition to your comment, I have the question, the same question, but a little bit smaller scale problems. The data shows that the volume transport may be related to the eddy propagating from the east, but there is another kind of eddy in the shallower part, the so-called the frontal eddy. So my question is that how does it relate to the Kuroshio strengths, which relate to the eddy activity in the Philippine Sea? So there is any relationship between large eddy in the Philippine Sea and small eddy and the frontal eddy in the shallow part?
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for the question. I think the smaller eddies, frontal eddies inside the East China Sea, there have been a few studies about those rather sub-mesoscale eddies inside the East China Sea. And I understand that those are mostly generated by the Kuroshio. So when we look at those small frontal eddies, the cyclonic eddies are located to the west of the Kuroshio path, and anticyclonic eddies are located to the east. So I think mesoscale eddies from the Philippine Sea, they affect the Kuroshio rather, Kuroshio, but those frontal eddies are rather generated by the Kuroshio variability, but we need to look at more in detail.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, more questions? No more questions? With that, I would like to thank Hannah for a very nice presentation. You've done very nice work. So thank you very much. And we just like to request the speakers to email their presentations so that we can include them in the website. So with that, I would like to thank everybody for attending this session. Thank you for the 3 speakers, and we hope to see you again next week. Ken, do you want to say something?
Yeah, this is Ken Ando. Thank you very much for today's for coming to today's session. In particular, Andreas and Agus and Hana-san. Thank you very much for making a presentation. These 3 talks are very much related to the the interaction between Kuroshio, open ocean, strong current, and marginal seas. And maybe we got a very good information to develop the CSK-2 Science Plan. So thank you very much. So next webinar session will be held in August 14, starting the same time from 1 p.m. in Bangkok time, 2 p.m. in China time, and 3 p.m. in Japanese time, and also Seoul time. So we're gonna see each other in 1 week later. So how about to take a screenshot again as a group photo? So please switch on your video, and I will take the screenshot on my PC. So everyone's ready?
There are 2 pages.
2 pages? Oh.
2 pages.
Okay, so first page is I take. I choose peace sign. So how can I change the pages?
The
next one, there's an arrow on the right.
Yeah. I change to the next pages. Okay, so 3 peace sign, please. So 3, 2, 1, 0. Thank you very much.
Some are using fake photo, you see. But never mind.
Thank you very much, everyone. So have a good weekend.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bye.